Next speaker we have is Kristi Lado. Kristi is Pennsylvania Adoptee Rights advocate. She's been probably dancing this dance longer than I have, and she's got a lot of hard work, strong emotions involved with this as the rest of us, and we appreciate her taking time to be here to represent her organization as well as her own self. Kristi?
Good afternoon. My name is Kristi Lado, and I serve on the board of Pennsylvania Adoptee Rights, otherwise known as PAR. I would like to thank Representative Benninghoff for allowing us to speak on behalf of our organization today. Our board president, Amanda Woolston, helped draft the original version of HB 162 with Representative Benninghoff, which originally, as it was written, restored unconditional access to original birth certificates for adult adoptees. I say restored because we had this right prior to 1985. Adoptees born in Pennsylvania had the right to obtain our OBCs just like any other citizen in the state. I know most of us are here to celebrate this law as a victory for adoptee rights. After all, most adoptees requesting their original birth certificates summaries will receive the full information they're entitled to. But unfortunately, the passage of this bill means that we still don't have unrestricted access to our own information. We still aren't being treated equally under the law simply because of the circumstances of our birth. PAR pulled its support from this bill when the amendments were added to deny unconditional access to our information. We are completely against the notion that one citizen, a parent, should be able to dictate how the government can treat another citizen, the adult adoptee. This is essentially a Mother May I bill. Don't get me wrong, I'm ecstatic for the people who are receiving their information, and it is most of the adoptees who are requesting it. But we still have work to do. We're the only citizens in the state who cannot access a true copy of our original birth certificates except by court order, which is virtually impossible, simply because of the circumstances of our birth. As you may know, the Catholic Conference and the ACLU of Pennsylvania both opposed HB 162. Ironically, because both of them seem to equate adoption with abortion. The Catholic Church continues to spread the lie that giving adoptees unconditional access to our OBCs would increase abortion rates. If anything, they've gone down in states that give adoptees unconditional access. The ACLU believes that adoption should be treated like an abortion in terms of anonymity. They believe a mother's name should be kept a state secret from her child. And the problem with this is that an abortion is a medical procedure where HIPAA laws would apply. Adoption is a legal transfer of custody. That involves a living, breathing human being, presumably one with rights. So we've been used as pawns in the abortion war, essentially since 1985, and it continues, rather than being treated as human beings. Which begs the question, who is adoption for? If it's treated as a way to spirit a child away and lock away their original identities, we should rethink our priorities. Adoptees are fighting for the right to see a state-held document that directly pertains to them in its entirety, without restrictions. That's pretty basic. There's a reason FOIA and sunshine laws exist, because we know inherently that anything that operates in secret is bound to be corrupt. Keep in mind, there was never a legal promise made to birth parents that their names would be kept secret from their children. Such a promise was never included on relinquishment papers. The notion that people should be able to reproduce anonymously from their children and have that right protected by law is not only impossible for the state to guarantee, but it's not in the child's best interest. Even now that parents can redact their information from our birth certificates, it's still not a guarantee of anonymity. Adoptees can still find a birth parent's identity via DNA testing and a private detective or any other alternative method. It's not easy, but it can be done. I found my own paternal family via DNA testing. Yet secrecy in adoption is considered fair and just, even by the very institutions that profess to fight for our civil liberties. What could be more of a civil liberty than the ability to know who you are and who you came from? I would invite the ACLU and other civil rights groups to get on the right side of this issue so that we are able to push for unconditional access to our original birth certificates. The right to biological identity has only become more pressing as the first major wave of donor-conceived people are well into adulthood. It's disconcerting enough for an adoptee to wonder if they're marrying a biological relative. Imagine being donor-conceived and knowing you may have hundreds of siblings living in your same geographic area. Yet somehow the idea persists that people should be able to procreate anonymously from their children. Even under this new law, our rights still only exist under the permission of people who supposedly gave up all legal rights to us. We are still only allowed to exist to the extent that it's emotionally convenient for somebody else. I want to live to see the day that an individual's biological identity cannot be lawfully withheld by any government or private agency. PAR will continue to fight until the rights of adopted people are truly protected under the law. We won't stop advocating for this, and I won't stop until we see that happen in Pennsylvania. Thank you.